The life ready to have fun. Then I bust a left on the 121. Pull it in the park and lay it on the grass. I roll back the rag so I can see some ass.
Good morning, Fantasy Blitz. I hope your day is off to a great start. We're enjoying some Coolio this morning. I hope you are too. Obviously, fresh off the tragedy that's occurred here in recent days with that's leaving us far too young artists, otherwise known as Coolio, moving on dead at the age of 59. However, right, Chuck, he gets to live forever in our ears. Isn't that great? So what's your favorite Coolio song?
Slide, slide, slippity slide. I love that. Fantastic Voyage. Gotta love Fantastic Voyage. Everyone knows the words. Everyone knows the words to Gangster Paradise too, so that's a good one as well.
Well, I always think like with Gangster Paradise, a lot of people focus on like the the refrain, and that's not Coolio technically. That's like some other guy. I remember in the video, it's this big black guy, coming down his face, just delivering that over and over again. So it was very interesting. But in any event,
rest in paradise, Coolio. Rest in paradise.
All right, that's right. Well, let's take a look here at our own paradise, Chuck, that we've created over the years, and that, of course, being, Fantasy Blitz. And so let's do a quick check-in here with the league. And it looks like here is our standings here. We're going to look to see how moment. But obviously it looks here that we have some very clear, talented front-running teams here in each division, right, Chuck?
Yeah, we have two undefeated teams both in each division. So Cooper Troopers are 3-0 with a one-game lead over yourself and Matty Cakes. And then we have Guardians of the Gridiron 3-0 with three teams 2-1 right behind them. So it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look here at some of these key games, how we got there this week. Of course, starting off with, pardon me, that was us looking forward a little too much. Let's go back to week 3. We've already messed up the production value, Chuckles.
No, we're good. We're good. We're live. So I think they can love that we're live. This is live TV.
That is true. Totally unscripted, born out of love. So looks like this last week here, and again, we just looked at the standings, but I didn't necessarily comprehend how we got there necessarily. A little shocked. I didn't pay attention and see that Mr. Mikey Berlin dropping to 1-2. But it looks like a very solid win here for Champ Samson. Obviously powered here on Monday night by Saquon Barkley. Looks like that touchdown run is what was needed to put him over the top.
Yeah, Samson. Just to remind everyone, my preseason #1 team to win it all. And they had a rough game last week, but they got Pittman and Kamara back, and Pittman Jr. and Kamara back. And what does that equal? It equals a win. Not only they lost Trey Lance, Jake lost Trey Lance last week early, as we mentioned in the previous episode, but he picked up Trevor Lawrence, which in my opinion is an upgrade at the quarterback position. So that injury, even though it's bad for Trey Lance, it forced Jake to make the right move and bring in Trevor Lawrence, who's looking really good, having a great grasp of that Jags offense. And we saw Saquon be Saquon from this rookie season. A.J. Brown's producing, and we saw a nice solid 84 out of Samson.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying on Trevor Lawrence, but for me, it's going to take more than just a couple of wins to remove the stink that exists on that franchise. And until I see like consistency, like Trevor's got to do this for at least 8 weeks before I'm buying in. If I'm Jake, I'm still exploring options. I know that I personally know that he has fielded some offers on Alvin Kamara. I know a lot of people are gunning after that kid as well. So, and we'll see if Alvin stays on the roster here, or if Jake leverages him into maybe some better solutions here across the roster. So he does have great with Saquon here as well. I do like Travis Etienne. I love running backs just like you do. I don't have that same level of disdain for Jacksonville running backs I do for Jacksonville quarterbacks. But we'll see. We'll see how he's able to pull this together. On the other side of the aisle here, again with Mikey, we talked about this last week. it's good that, again, I would say his big three mostly showed up. 2 out of the 3 underperformed, but got to find a way to leverage these goose eggs and remove them. What I've noticed, unless it's Travis Kelce, I don't think I have any futures in starting any Kansas City players. It seems like Andy Reid every week is picking who the winner is. Like if you are in Andy Reid's fantasy football team and you see who he's starting, maybe then I would start those receivers, but it's just too hit or miss at the moment.
Yeah, and speaking of Mikey B's big three, I gave Mikey B the magic number of 60 points out of JTT, Henry, and Mahomes. If he gets 60 points, there's a good chance he's going to win. Last week, they scored 45 points, not enough because he doesn't have anyone else to carry him. And so that's the magic number, 60 points out of the big three. If it doesn't happen, you're probably looking at an L.
Hey, there you go. That 60 points out of those definitely pushes him over and above that 84 for Jake. So tough break for Mikey and another good win for Team Samson. All right, so moving on here. Little Giants and Justin Fields here with Andy Gorman's team. Right away, Chuck, it pains me or hurts me on the inside to see a former champ do this, but here we go again. I don't know how it's possible. Harrison Butker has started again for a 3rd week in a row, and it's cost Andy the game. I was giving him the raspberry about that this morning. This man should be 2-1, but again, the little mental errors here are eating away at him. But again, great showing here by Jamal Williams. Is that something, I know, Chuck, you follow the Lions very closely. Is this something you're shocked to see out of Jamal Williams? Is this, is he a candidate here to have long-term success?
Yeah, let me give some love that we probably haven't done in the 10 years of doing Fantasy Blitz to young Berlin. It may have taken 10 years, but the dude is managing his team very well. He did 2 key moves that I'm very impressed with. Talking about Jamal Williams, last week we saw DeAndre Swift play hobbled and just still produce really well. And I thought that was going to happen again. I thought DeAndre Swift was going to kind of hobble through his game again and Jamal Williams was going to spell him when needed. That wasn't the case. Swift was hurting pretty bad and Jamal picked up the reins and just carried the rock and took care of the goal line carries with ease. He's showing some very solid running. Kudos to young Berlin for bringing him in, but that's not why I'm going to recognize Jason. I'm going to recognize Jason for making probably the move that won him the game.
Really?
Yeah, he loves Justin Herbert. He loves him almost as much as Will loves Tom Brady. And for him to bench Herbert and bring in Tannehill, that move actually won him the game. Does he not? If he doesn't do that, we see Andy get his first win of the season. But I'm going to give a lot of love to young Berlin. It took him 10 years, but he's starting to figure this fantasy thing out and expect him to be a contender this year.
Yeah, I agree. Like you got to give credit where credit's due. I will also say let's temper down the enthusiasm for young Berlin, and that I think it was a relatively easy bench decision to make. And here's why: it was a late afternoon start, and we all watched how hurt Herbert looked in the Thursday night game previously. So I think it made all the sense in the world. You can't put yourself in that position. Where you don't know. It's like, oh, will my quarterback start in a late game? Got to invest in it a little bit earlier. So he did go with Tennessee. Now, obviously, it worked out great for him, and he got the win. That's the most important thing. And so he'll need to make more good, easy decisions, like I think he did on Sunday, to continue to to pad that record. And Jason Berlin, maybe can really stop talking about relegating you to some other lower fantasy rung of fantasy football. So keep it up here, and I'll tell you what, I'll throw you in $5 if you have a better record than your brother at the end of the year. That's for sure.
I'll take that bet. I think that's going to be an easy money right there. But as far as Andy, though, let me just say something about Andy. 0-3. It's tough to see him start the season 0-3. He's had some rough games. DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know if that's a luxury he can keep on his bench. He's going to get him back in week 8, week 9, maybe. Could Andy be out of contention by then? Does he look to trade that asset to a contending team to help him now? That's going to be interesting to see if that is any of his consideration going forward.
Yeah, I want to see what Andy does. And again, to his credit, he knows he stepped in it. But he does need to pivot. It's not working. 0-3. We got to find something here. I'm glad the homer in him decided to sit David Montgomery. Again, good call out for him. That was the right decision. But just, again, wasn't enough if you're not going to have a kicker to get you at least something there. So, all right, well, let's move on and take a look here. Looks like, oh, this was another surprising score for me. Team Rant again, really, to be honest with you, 3 strong weeks to start off, his time here. Wasn't exactly the prettiest score and win, but he got the job done. Looks like you're powered behind Hollywood Brown, and a surprise, I think, for a lot of people in that Thursday night game was Amari Cooper.
Yeah, so I'm sounding like a broken record, but I like Team Rant. In fact, he was consideration for possibly cracking the top 3 for power rankings this week. Not quite there yet, so I'll give you that spoiler alert. But I like this team, and I hate to say it, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the guy just produces. He still had a bad game, but still produced, which is a sign of a great fantasy quarterback. And you mentioned it, Popey, Amari Cooper and Hollywood Brown, good receivers, putting up points. Amari's one of the best receivers fantasy point wise this year. So if we had to redo the draft, I guarantee he'd be one of the early ones to get picked. As far as he went. So Team Rant, look at him, 2-1. Who would have thought?
And on the flip side here, I think a lot of people, Allen Robinson was a very popular pick for as a sleeper, pre-draft, and it makes all the sense. This should work. It really should. Allen is a phenomenal talent. Kind of filling that OBJ role, on the opposite side of Coop, or I guess probably more of a Robert Woods role outside of Coop. So, I wonder. I've watched a couple of these Rams games. I'm wondering if he's washed. He can't get open. There's no separation downfield at all from Allen Robinson. So again, have to wonder. Are there some better options there that exist? Looking up and down this roster, not really. And so again, it's probably something here. Can he make a move? It's just something that can get done here to change the mix. Obviously, very disappointing when Joe Mixon only putting in 3 against the Jets. You have to think after you saw the Browns run, the ball down their throat. A little shocking to see Joe only able to put up 3 points.
Yeah, with Bart, with Allen Robinson, I agree. I mean, with Stafford as his quarterback, you would think Stafford knows Allen Robinson from the NFC North days, even though Stafford wasn't throwing to him. He was on the sideline watching him do his thing. So Stafford has a deep admiration for Allen Robinson. We saw a drop off the last couple of years in Chicago, and we blamed on the quarterback. Allen Robinson doesn't have a quarterback to get in the ball. Well, now he has a quarterback to get in the ball. I think I'm with you, Popey. I think there's a decline right now as far as Allen Robinson's concerned, because this is the perfect offense for him to really do some things, and has the quarterback that knows him from the NFC North days to it's just not happening for the guy. And then Tyreek Hill, man, 3 points for Bart. That's that can't happen. Is Tyreek Hill an all or nothing type of player going forward? I don't know. Hopefully he can have those 10, 11 point games besides the all or nothing games.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, really, everyone should be building their roster. How am I going to get to 90 points each and every week? I mean, you get to 90 points, you have 90% chance of winning your game. And maybe even higher than that. And it's, currently as structured, I don't know. Does Tyreek have that consistency? Yes, he's that home run threat. He's gonna. I feel like Tyreek Hill is gonna have 3, 4, 43 points, 6, 3, 33 points. It's just, hey, it's great when it hits, but if you're looking for consistency, maybe not the way to go. All right, so we're moving on here, and of course, one of the this franchise historically has been very competitive in the league. Obviously, we have new flavor of ownership this year with the Guardians, but off to a great start. You look at this roster here, and I felt really bad on Thursday night, and I was hoping, and I'm glad it really didn't come down to it. But at the end of the game, Denzel Ward recovered that touchdown to cover the spread for the Browns, and gifted Guardians a fumble and a touchdown. So they went from 0 points to 8 points, and in a blink of an eye. So I was glad to see that it covered the spread for that horrible, tragic ending there for Will. But it looks like he had bad matchups here. Carson Wentz and Tom Brady. The Green Bay defense is well thought of, and Philly's been no joke either. And I mean, look at this. I mean, like Terry McLaurin. I mean, it was just a blowout the whole game. So just a tough week again for Will, as my man falls to 0-3.
Yeah, I was thinking this is going to be a tough week. Will's team, they're struggling right now. Guardians of the Gridiron is running all cylinders. I had a feeling this was going to be a blowout, and it wasn't a blowout, but Will needs to score more than 63 points to even have a chance to get against these guys. Wentz over Brady again. He went back-to-back Wentz over Brady. Last week it worked for him. This week not so much. Brady outproduced Wentz. I would have probably went Brady over Wentz just because I thought Brady and Aaron Rodgers, they would want to one-up each other. Maybe their last battling against each other this past week. Yeah. And so that wasn't really the case, but nonetheless, Brady still outscored Wentz. Zeke looks good. I think that's a good thing for Will to look at, silver lining. Zeke looks pretty good, better than he has been. He looks a little fresher. And then the thing with Will, he just needs more out of that Chargers offense because he invested heavily in the Chargers offense. He needs more. I mean, absolutely needs more from the Chargers offense. It just has to happen. And then as far as Patrick and Reed, Gridirons of the Guardian, what can you say? They're a well-oiled machine. I mean, they got two general managers, the best ideas of both coming together, making a great, roster. Mark Andrews at 20 points. I know for a fact they value Mark Andrews because I tried to get him off their hands and they're not going to even consider it. And so they're going to ride with Mark Andrews and Diggs. And I think you're going to see great things going forward out of those guys.
Well, hopefully, obviously they, didn't maximize their roster this last week. A lot of points on the bench for them. Hey, that's great. Builds up a great bench, helps out in ties. Obviously, you'd like to see that, kind of applied here. Justin Jefferson with a 1, that has to be an aberration. The man is amazing on that football field. Again, against Detroit, you would have thought that, I don't know what happened there, but my gosh, I would have thought that Justin Jefferson would go for 42 points this week. Just unfortunately didn't come to real.
Well, I can tell you what happened. I watched the game. They had double coverage on Jefferson the whole game. Jeff Okudah was on him primarily. He followed him wherever he went, and they had safety over the top help. So they were basically doubling him. Our other cornerback, Armani Arwariye, probably had his worst game of his life. He had like 6 penalties and had like 112 yards on passes thrown against him. So Cousins was just picking on Armani. That's why you saw a really good game out of Thielen. They didn't need Jefferson to win the game, and unfortunately for fantasy, that hurts. But the Vikings played it the right way.
And am I mistaken? Did the Tuna Troops pull a trade for DJ Moore?
No, not yet. They're thinking about it.
Oh, not yet. Oh, I thought I saw something with.
No, Tuna Troops made a trade. Tuna Troops made a trade for Tuna Troops traded who did Tuna Troops trade? It's my own team.
Yes, it is.
That Roby Anderson for Russell Wilson.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah. I got my former.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what the confusion was. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. But again, hey, the future is bright for Guardians. Will, it's unfortunate, man. 0-3 is a tough reality to deal with. You got to get that first win, and we're going to need to get a little lucky here down the stretch. Computer still has your odds at 1-4 at getting to the postseason. So definitely no reason to give up here. We need a little more. We got to figure out what's going on over there in Charger land. It has just been underwhelming this year. And I think a lot of people that invested heavily in the Chargers have probably have some similar struggles. But let's go ahead and move on here. And I was so excited last week for this matchup, and I had it up here as we had the battle of the triple champs, trying to figure this out with Team Punishment going against Main Event. But boy, this thing was over in a hurry, wasn't it, Chuck?
It was, and man, I was really hoping Louis was going to go 0-3. I mean, that he wouldn't have heard the end of it. He would have had to mute his phone when I called him like 20 times a day on Sunday. With Lamar, CMC, here's the thing about Louis: no one produced under 5 points for him. So everyone produced. His lowest score was 5 points, but everyone else is double digits. He's got solid performance out of everyone. That's how you win in this league. You don't have to have 30 points out of everyone, but you can't have under 5. On the flip side, so Lou didn't have anyone under 5. Matt had 5 people under 5. No one showed up. Judy with 1, Bateman with 3, Hunter Hurst Hemsley, Triple H with 0, Swift with 4. I mean, it was Jalen Hurts still did his thing, but other than that, very rough outing for Maddie. And I can't believe Louis pulled out a win. I thought he was going to get blown out, and boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I love Jalen Hurts, but really not a lot else on Matt's team. Now, again, he's a triple champ. He deserves the benefit of the doubt there, but it's nothing on here is blowing my hair back. Nice to see Cam Akers showing the box score this week. I know that's been a challenge, year to date for the main event participants, but yeah, for Louis. Usually like it's the running backs that power him to victory. Nope, it's going to be Lamar Jackson this year. So let's hope that he doesn't waste any other 40-point games. But certainly Lamar looking to get paid and I think secure that second league MVP trophy this year. So it'll be interesting to see how this comes together. Louis has another important game this week, which I'm sure we'll have a chance to take a look at here in a moment. But over to the Battle of the Troopers, the Battle of the Stormtroopers. So we had the Tuna and the Coopers battling it up here. And yeah, not exactly a barn burner. It was looked to be a struggle here across. Now I'm looking at some of these games. Green Bay has a tough defense. That Denver San Francisco game was hard on the eyes, frankly. Again, boy, Russell Wilson, I don't know if you happen to catch Monday night with Eli Manning. He had one fantastic joke. He says, I can't believe they paid Russ $230 million. They should have given all that money to the punter. It was, because it was, they were like throwing darts, and it was such a great field position game, and special teams certainly showed up to play. Unfortunately, Russ Wilson did not show up to play for you, Chuck. I guess that's why we shipped him out the door, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately for me, this was my game of the week. I thought for sure we were going to see some points out of both teams. Christy scoring only 63 points was a great opportunity for me to get a win and give her first loss. But Russell Wilson he does not. When they say they're going to let Russ cook, he can't cook. He doesn't know how to cook. He looks at the back of the box, looks at the microwave, puts it on high for 4 minutes, takes it out, stirs it, puts it back in the microwave. The dude does not know how to cook. I was furious. So anyone who saw transactions, I was adamant to make sure Russ was off my team before that Broncos game was over. I was able to place a trade, get him off my team with Danny, and got a receiver who may never start for me, but that's okay. I just don't want to have to even think about starting Russell Wilson, and I want to show him that performance was unacceptable. And when you don't perform for the Tuna Troops, you can get a quick way out of the ticket. Out you go. That's right.
I divested from the Broncos offense this week as well, so I feel your pain there. It is, it's unfortunate. Of course, Amon St. Ra, I know St. Brown rather, he had was battling through some injuries in that game. I think he kind of twisted his ankle just a little bit. I was a little shocked. Again, I know the game was weird, but I thought for sure that Kittle would have more of an impact on that game with Jimmy G than he actually did. So not willing to give up on the Niners yet, but we'll look to see what's coming here in future weeks. But again, you look at this roster here from Christy, a lot of points on the bench as well. Her bench also would have won against you here this last week. So that team is stacked, and definitely going to be something to deal with here down the road for everybody.
Yeah, she's legit.
All right. Well, I'll tell you this. This was a disappointing loss for the Vatican City this week. It felt going in that I had this. I could tell you on the outside looking at it, I was very concerned with the matchups, and there were the position units that the Vatican was going against for receiver group, for tight end group, and for running backs were either number one toughest in the league or number two. And I thought mistakenly, oh, it doesn't matter. We're only 2 weeks in. These numbers, we still haven't kind of settled yet. And that was a mistake. I probably should have looked to leverage another relationship. Here could have left a lot of points on the bench this week, which is unfortunate. Also not happy that Dallas Cowboys quarterback, it's his first start in prime time on Monday night in New York City. How can you not throw at least one pick and get sacked twice? That would have given me the win this week, but that bastard had to have his best career game. again, he didn't do much, but it was he didn't make any mistakes, which is probably the key for the Cowboys' success while Dak is out.
Yeah, you reminded me of the Pace Picante commercials back in the 80s. New York City. How did Cooper Rush perform in New York City? Popey, man. First of all, I got to hand it to our heart of a champion, Danny. He refuses to go 0-3. He grinded out a 65-61 win. You got to hand it to the guy. The feedback to Danny last week was his opponents were scoring over 100 points a game, and he just had to intimidate his opponents to not maximize the roster, and looks like he was successful in doing that. Hope you have a very deep team, and so sometimes when you have a deep team, that will happen. We have more points on the bench than your starters, but that in the long run, that's still going to serve you very well. Josh Allen still did great. Your tight end, I know you addressed it recently. I think that's your weak link that can hold you back from winning that 65-61 game. Not pointing out the Giants. Obviously, the Giants getting 0. That's the low hanging fruit there. But you have any production on your tight end, you're 3-0. Danny's 0-3. So it is what it is.
Well, glad I could do my part to help Danny get a win in this last week, and I hope he recognizes my generosity the next time on the golf course with him. But we'll see. Well, let's take a quick look ahead here, Chuck. I know we've spent already a good amount of time here looking at the league, but let's see what's on the matchup here. And I'm wondering, are there any games that maybe stick out to you this week as being of consequence?
Yeah, I'll go through it real quick. Cooper Trooper versus main event is going to be interesting to see. 2 running quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray. But the one that I'm going to highlight that I really am excited to see is Guardians of the Gridiron versus the Vatican City. I think your team is very deep. Hope I said it last week, probably the deepest since 2017. Guardians, just a power match, So I'm expecting great things out of both games. It's going to be interesting to see Josh Allen. They throw to Diggs, he throw to Gabe Davis. Because he has Diggs, you have Allen. So that could be an interesting aspect. I'm really looking forward to see if the Guardians may go 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting matchup for sure. He's got number 1 receiver, number 1 tight end, number 1 kicker. That's pretty powerful for sure. I know that for me this week, I've got some injuries up and down. I would love to start Jalen Waddle. I don't believe in Thursday night games. If I can opt out of them, I generally will do that. And so it's unfortunate that I won't be able to leverage Jalen Waddle this week, but you never know going into those games, especially just on the short week. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what will happen here, but I'm looking forward to the challenge, and hopefully the Denver defense can show up for me and shut down Josh Jacobs. I think that might be the key for me.
I think so. That's going to be interesting for sure.
All right, everyone. Well, we appreciate your time and your patronage and, the level of effort and energy you guys are bringing each and every week. I know there's a couple of different group chats that are going on Sundays talking various amounts of shit. So we appreciate the energy and the engagement. And again, we appreciate the feedback also on this forum. A lot of people had some great positive remarks on this. We're glad to hear that. And we have some ideas as well to continue to make this a little better and to increase that production value. So just hang tight, and I promise your co-commissioners will deliver for you. But otherwise, everyone, have a lovely evening. Enjoy your football this week, and we'll catch you soon.
You better be ready so you can ride.